everything has come into place after the loss of my brother. It's unfortunate that it had to happen, but God is so intentional about everything he does. At the time, I didn't understand the loss. It felt like he was doing me dirty, but it was for a greater good.
The best you can be.
Welcome. Welcome to my podcast, The Best You Can Be. You are actually our first guest. I haven't had a guest since for this particular segment of my YouTube channel. So welcome to opening up the show.
I actually figured that out and it was stressing me out because now I have to. It's like I haven't seen her post anything this year, so I'm probably the first one.
You are.
No pressure.
It's not going to be but you're the first person since I started the podcast, because I had people in the channel in general.
I'm thinking since this year.
No, the podcast, the Best You Can Be podcast, hasn't had a guest. It's just
No
been
pressure.
me and speaking. No pressure. Don't worry. Welcome,
Thank you for
Nqobile.
having me.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. But how are you? I know when we say how are you, it's like it's easy.
easy
You
to
quickly
just
say,
say,
I'm
nah,
good.
nah.
How are you?
Must I deep dive?
How are you,
Cindy,
girl?
go.
Oh, Sana, what is wrong?
What a life. What a life. No, I'm joking, but serious. On a serious matter, I'm good. I'm good. I think life is just lifing at the moment, but I have so much to be grateful for. I'm in a transitionary period of my life, so it feels like things are not okay, but really they are fine.
They are fine.
Like in the grand scheme of things, I'm fine. Everything is fine. Everything's going according to plan. So I think I'm good.
I think I'm good. Okay, that's
And
good.
how are you?
Wow, I'm good. I'm coming from a conference, so I'm feeling. They actually said there's a hormone that's excreted when you get things done, but that same hormone, I didn't get what the hormone is, but that same hormone also gets excreted when you hear good things about the things you're supposed to do. So your body will think the things are getting done, but you need to actually do them.
Yeah.
So I think I'm that
Is it
hormone.
oxytocin? I don't know.
I don't know
Oxytocin
if
is a
it's
happy hormone.
oxytocin.
And I should actually know this because of my psychology background. So you shouldn't have brought that up.
Girl, why are you here? So yeah, I think I'm good because of that. It rejuvenated me.
Yeah.
Let's get into the conversation. So I think I know your name as Nqobile Mnisi. Who is Nqobile? Where was Nqobile born? Where does she come from? Yeah.
Such a loaded question. So I'm Nqobile Mnisi. I like going by my full identity now because when I search for my name on the internet, there's so many Nqobile Mnisis. It's just like, no, please. This is my brand. I am the Nqobile Mnisi, please. Yeah, so I'm from Spruitview, a proud 2K, born and bred in Spruitview, raised by my single mom. I had a brother. It was just the two of us. Went to school at Patterson Park Primary School, which is an Adventist primary school. And I'm mentioning it because it's such an important part of my journey and who I am today. I think it was such a pivotal point of my faith, right? Going to an Adventist school really was a great foundation for the Christian that I am today. I think at the time I didn't realize. It felt like, they're shoving the Bible, they're shoving Christianity down our throats. But now I look back and I'm just like, I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for that foundation. But it's so sad how we experience it differently, because I see people I went to school with that have completely lost the faith. And it's so sad to see, because the foundation we got there was so strong. It was so strong that it's made me the Christian that I still am today. So yeah, that's where I'm from. Then I went on to go to JP High School for Girls. Worst few years of my life.
Wow, is that now high school?
High school. Oh my word. I mean,
Why?
already girls' schools are a horrible place to go to. But I was also bullied in high school. Yeah, I went from a primary school where we were 15 in a class, and I used to be the it girl. Like, it was nice. Then I went to high school. I was a nobody there. Nobody cared who I was. Nobody, and there was like 30 of us in a class. So I went from a very small group, being the center of attention, to being a nobody. And yeah, I stopped caring. I don't think high school was a conducive environment for me, unfortunately. But hey, we soldiered through. We finished, but people that know me in high school, I don't think they know the real me, which is so crazy to me. Like, people that know me are people that made me primary and varsity. See, that 14 to 18, I don't even know who that girl is.
Oh my word.
I think I was on survival mode.
What were you bullied for?
It was so stupid. Girls are just not nice people. And it was in grade 11.
I mean, we see it even on social media
see it on
these days,
social
how
media.
we bash each other.
Exactly. I don't want to, because I've reconciled with these people, so I don't want to make it a big deal. But it was so petty. I don't even remember what the issue was, but I think it had to do with some guy. It was so petty, like girl things. Like it was really so
Petty
stupid. I can't
things.
even remember, but it was so stupid, and I was so scared of this girl.
Oh my
like
word.
everyone was scared of her because she has a strong personality.
We had, many of us had that. I also had a girl that we were all scared of, and Meglanda, yo.
But there was a day, where I got it from. I was like, I'm going to fetch her this day.
Summer well, I never did that.
I went to get lunch and I found her. And I was like, please say everything you've been saying to other people to my face.
Yes, girl.
Did she not beat me with a textbook?
Why, where was I going?
You know, for the rest of my high school life, I was called maths textbook.
Oh
because
my
she
God,
threw a
go
maths
back,
textbook.
maths textbook. Oh my
What
word.
about this, Dimasam?
What about? So Waba in your little
Listen,
corner.
listen.
I'm not even going to be involved in anything. You guys don't know me. I don't know y'all. Peace.
That same day, bang biza intercom, but in the office in. I mean, I've never been in trouble in my whole life. Then that year, I had a disciplinary hearing. You know, and it was such a petty issue.
Oh my
but it was
gosh.
like a whole squad against me.
Yeah.
So I stood no chance. I literally stood no chance.
Sure.
Baspiza disciplinary, oh my word, it was the worst time of my life.
I can imagine.
Baspiza bas recorder, it was so serious. Like, it was literally so serious.
It's like, guys, come
And I look
on.
back and I'm just like, what is that all about? Like, literally, what is that all about?
Oh my word.
But also, I think that experience showed me a side of my mom that I've grown. I don't want to say to resent, but it's made me hungry for justice. I want to say that, right? Because during that time, I really wanted my mom to stand up for me. I really wanted my mom to be like, guys, this is my child, leave her alone. My mom is not that person. My mom is a very Christian Adventist, turn the other cheek.
Bandla.
This is not the time to turn the other cheek. I'm being
Girl, I
bullied at
feel
school.
you.
Can you stand up for me? And shame she didn't. And I know it's because of the type of person she is. Yeah. But I wish she had shown up for me. And now I'm very intentional about showing up for myself. Like, if you want to bully me, I unfortunately have to bully you back. I need to meet you.
Unfortunately.
Because I didn't have that growing up, so I need to be that person for myself. Yeah.
It's crazy because the other day, I don't know who I was talking to, and we were talking about how I was excluded in varsity, and my friend also had a difficult academic journey. So she took about, how many years? 9 years to finish her degree. But can you imagine? If it's 9 years, it means there's failing that's happening in between, right? But I also went through that. But after 3 years, I was told you can't continue. You're discontinued, excluded from the university. But then I was telling someone, I'm like, my friend was able to get to that 9 years because her mom did not accept the verdict. No. Every time they told her, Guti, your child can't, she
would
went,
go.
she stood up, she went and she was like, hey,
My child,
ease of food. But my mom, shame. When I called her, I even remember the day I called her when I got excluded. She was like, oh, Danami, come home. It's okay.
It's like, that's not what I want. Please fight for me.
Like,
Love Jesus down, but please, guys, hey, can you please be practical?
Hey, my little sister says, "Usempilweni la, usempilweni mpi ilwa."
Exactly.
That's what life is. So I completely understand having
Adventist
mothers that are
moms,
like Christian,
turn
100,
the other cheek.
turn the
Everything
other
happens
cheek.
for a reason. Jesus, I need you to fight for
Girl,
me.
we are the same. We have the same mother.
Yeah.
And it makes me mad every time because this happens with everything. You can come to her with whatever problem and the only thing she's going to tell you, there's no need to do anything about
Pray
it.
about it. God will vengeance is the Lord.
Why why you must always be. But also, maybe we are the women that we are because of that. Maybe had they been the other, we would
Probably
be
be in
different.
prison, actually.
God knew ukuthi yabona ke lo udinga umama o soft, or nice, or phansi ngoba kungamosheka. So I'm assuming you come from an Adventist home, from what you've just said. So you were raised in Adventism, you went to an Adventist school, and you say it molded you to be the person that you are. What do you think you would have been without Adventism?
I'd probably be so lost, hey? Like, a lot of people say Adventism is a cult. I mean, every Christian, every
Denomination,
religion, and
yeah.
I think it all has some cult aspects to it. But I think Christianity is a coping mechanism. We use it as that. So just having a God that I can fully rely on, even if they were to say one day that this God doesn't exist, it's all been in your head. But that's how I've gotten through this life, that there's a higher power than me that I depend on, that I rely on, and also have a track record of this God. So even if it doesn't exist, I know that someone greater than me exists. So I don't think I would have coped without Christianity, without Adventism. I don't think I would have the principles and the values that I have in my life right now. A lot of people say I'm very strict, and I think it's because of Adventism. I thought maybe I would outgrow that strictness once I leave the house, because my mom is not necessarily strict. Like, she was overprotective, but she was not strict. Like, umuntu nje uthanda umthetho, do things right, and that's how I've grown up to be. And people think I'm very strict, I'm very uptight, I'm very but
It's okay.
it works for me.
It's
gotten me so far in life. So I think the values that come with Christianity and Adventism have molded me to be the person that I am. I'd probably be a drunkard somewhere if I wasn't Adventist, living such a reckless life. I thank God for the convictions that He has given me. And speaking on Adventism, actually, I think one of the biggest convictions I got is modesty, right? And not just in my way. Like, when I think of modesty, I don't think of a dress sense. I think of a lifestyle. So to me, modesty is the way you carry yourself, is the way you speak, is the way... And it's a conviction I think I got in varsity. And someone once said to me, Nqobile, I love that you're so modest, but I pray to God I never get that conviction. And I'm just like, you know what? We experience God so differently. We experience religion so differently. But the convictions and the personal walk that I've had with God have really molded me to be the person that I am today.
You know what, girl? I think we are actually very similar. We're actually very similar. Because I think it's also one of my convictions, which is what my TikTok page, I can say, is based on my modesty. And yesterday I went to my local church. And before I leave, I was literally packing and going. When I get to the car, the elder stops me and I'm like, I know how this is going to go. They're going to ask me, why don't you come to church? Where are you going? So I tell him, no, I haven't stopped going to church. I just go to a different church. And he's like, but that church, my dear. And now I must defend this church. Oh, I'm so tired. Now I must defend this church that I attend. And eventually he's like, you know, I like how you are. You see, you dress, the way you dress is proper. People look up to you. You will think people aren't watching, but you might be changing someone's perspective to religion and Adventism by the way that you dress. And I'm like, actually, let me tell you now, how I dress when I come to my local church is the same way I dress when I go to the other church. I am not going there because I'm trying to be... Hayi nina lana nifuna isiqepeza sifuna ukuqepeza mina sengiyangale ngiyanishiya la ekhaya. It's not that. It's a thing. It's a personal thing. Okay, let's backtrack. So you went to school, primary, high school, and then you said you went on to varsity. So I know you're currently doing your PhD. Hashtag Becoming Dr Mnisi. The brand. I want to know, did you always... want to finish school? Because I know that we call it finishing school, but see, if you don't have a PhD, you are a dropout.
You just have a matric.
We are dropouts.
Even with your master's,
But like, I'm a proud dropout. Did you always want to get to that point? Or where in your journey do you decide, I actually want to get to my PhD?
I'm trying to think. My mom has always believed in education, and she really reinforced that in me. Like, she forced me to love school, and lucky for her, it was easy for me. Like, I'm naturally smart, so it worked to her advantage. And I think it's because my mommy only has a matric, right? She matriculated in Lesotho, so coming back to South Africa, the transferring, the thing, it was a bit of a process. So she promised herself that her kids are going to go to school. And so she sent me to good schools. My mom didn't have money to take us to good schools. I found out recently, when I was in high school, she was earning 10,000. You have 2 kids. You're earning 10,000. You're taking me to high school. That's about 2 point something a month. So my mom has always been so intentional about taking her kids to good schools, right? And when I started at Wits, even my journey there is, yeah, God really wrote down my story because I didn't even choose the path that I went on, right? So I was supposed to pursue accounting. I'm good with numbers. That's what I was supposed to do. But somehow, not even somehow, our LO teacher in grade 11 said to us, whatever you do, when you apply to university, apply for a BA. At every university, just apply for a BA and then your first option. Because if they don't accept you for what you want, at least you're there for a BA and then you can just transfer, which is exactly what I did. And then Wits didn't take me for accounting, but they took me for a BA. But I didn't even want to go to Wits. I didn't care about Wits. I wanted to go to UP. I have no idea why.
Same.
But I wanted to go to UP. They didn't accept me for accounting sciences. Oh, I was so upset. I was so upset when I saw, but UJ accepted me for accounting. My high school, we all hated UJ. We said it's that orange high school down the road. We don't want to go there. And it's so childish now looking back at it because accounting is actually the best at UJ, at least at our time.
I think it's still like that.
Is it?
People still have that mentality of, I think when you're in high school, that's what you're told. You must go to Wits because you're doing high school and stuff. So I also was exactly the same. I didn't care about Wits. I wanted to go to UP and then ended up at UJ.
Yeah, so the day I got the acceptance from Wits, I was like, I'm packing my bags, let's go to Wits. My mom called my family, she's like, please sit her down, convince her, because I don't do well with failure. So my mom thought, because she failed at this, she just wants to throw her life away and do a useless degree, right? But there was a conviction in me that said, take this Wits offer. Mind you, I didn't want anything to do. I didn't care about Wits. Wits felt like the varsity version of my high school because 90% of the people at my high school go to Wits. So I was like, I don't want to go there. I'm going to be with these exact same people. Mind you, my bully was there. Also at Wits, first year I saw her. That's when we reconciled. But anyway, yeah, so I went to Wits. She couldn't convince me out of it. I learned to love psychology. I think God just put my journey. I don't even know how to speak about it, and because it feels so divine and so divinely aligned that even speaking about it doesn't feel like I'm doing it justice, right? So, yeah, I did my psychology degree in South Africa. You can't practice as a psychologist without a master's, so I was forced to go all the way to master's level, but I didn't even know what master's I was going to pursue. Because as a Black African girl, I thought clinical psychology was the only option. And that's what I applied for. They were rejecting me left, right, and center. Every university rejected me. And that year of my honors was the year I lost my brother to suicide, right? And so I had to go to therapy that year just to show how God has been in all of this. It's so insane. But I went to therapy that year. I didn't want to go to therapy, but I was really not coping. So I ended up going. I saw a neuropsychologist there. I knew nothing about neuropsychology. And we'd have our sessions, we'd talk, we'd do whatever we do. And I would crash out to him and say, yo, I'm applying for clinical and they're not taking me. And it's like, to me, you don't even have the personality for a clinical psychologist. Like you are so reserved. You are so, like have you ever looked into research psychology? And I'm like, what is that? And he's like, look into it and apply. I think you would make a great research psychologist. I went home that day. I Googled research psychology. I'm like, that's exactly me. That's literally who I am. When I tell you I applied, applications were closing the following month. I applied that week. I was accepted straight away.
Wow.
There were no problems. I got funding.
God was like, you found your way.
God was like, I found my way. Even the losing of my brother had to happen because I wouldn't have met that psychologist.
I was about to ask, Guguti, did you ever sit down and think, I found my way after the loss of my brother?
After the loss of my brother. Everything has come into place after the loss of my brother. It's unfortunate that it had to happen, but God is so intentional about everything he does. At the time, I didn't understand the loss. It felt like he was doing me dirty, but it was for a greater good.
Have you ever felt regret and say, I would have preferred to have my brother than have this career, if ever my brother had to leave for me to find my way? Have you ever gotten to a point where you're like, God, at least if he had stayed and all of this didn't happen, I don't care?
I've never had that thought. I think that whole incident made me trust in God's will for my life, that I never think of anything outside of God's will. If He permitted that to happen, then it had to happen that way. I don't see it happening any other way. If He had stayed, I don't know. I don't even think I would have wanted to pursue psychology had it not been for my brother. I think deep down, I always knew that my brother had mental health problems. Like he had attempted so many times before, right? So it wasn't the first time. So I don't think I intentionally thought, let me study psychology to help my brother, but I think it was something so deeply rooted. And he's actually one of the people that told me that you would make a great psychologist, especially during the time when I had accepted the offer and my mom was saying, my child, please, no, hey, please be so serious. My brother was like, do not listen to your mom.
Just do it.
You would make a great psychologist. We need more Black psychologists in South Africa. We need people that come from places we come from. We need representation, so do it. And when he passed on, when he committed suicide, it felt like, what was the point of all of this? Like, I'm doing this, I was going to try and help you at least when I'm done, and you're not helping. You don't even try and see the process through. But, man, I understand now why it had to happen. Like, the grief was heavy. The grief was heavy, but therapy really helped me. I didn't deal with the loss of my brother the first time I went to therapy. I'll be honest, I was not in the mood to deal with it. I just wanted to deal with everyday things. I only went to therapy for the loss of my brother in 2024. And that was because of something else. So I was held at gunpoint, right? So I'd left my car at the car wash. I was walking back. They held me at gunpoint, took my phone and everything. And it didn't hurt me. But something about it brought back all the trauma in my life that I was actually not coping. And I had to actually go and see a therapist and unpack everything, including my brother's death. And that was the first time I actually dealt with the loss of my brother. And it put me in such a better place now. You see, I'm not even crying talking about it now because
I'm listening to you. I'm like, sure.
But God has been so intentional. Look, I haven't even answered your question yet because
even
it's
remember
so
what my question
was my plan always to pursue my PhD.
Oh, okay, we've spiraled.
So my master's, I had to do my master's, right? And the PhD, I mean, I'm already there. I might as well.
Like, I might as well.
I'm really doing it for vibes, hey? Like, I just like the doctor title.
Oh my gosh.
I really just like the doctor title, and people will take me more seriously, I think. But there's nothing in me that says you won't survive without the PhD.
You'll be fine.
I will be fine, but I'm doing it because I can. I love education, so I might as well just pursue it.
Okay. So how do you then decide on the brand Becoming Dr Mnisi? How did you wake up? Because I know I'm also a content creator, but I can tell you that one day when it sparked and I started. So how did you start the Becoming Dr Mnisi journey?
It actually happened during COVID. I was watching YouTube videos of students moving in to university, and it looked so fun and so cool. And I told my friend that I think I want to be a content creator, which was funny because I'm very shy. And at the time, I didn't even have an iPhone. So I was like, when I get an iPhone, I'm going to start creating content. And so after COVID, we moved back. My first video was literally me moving to a res in honors. And people enjoyed that content. And I was like, oh, okay.
Let's run with it.
Let's run with it. And then I started posting my study sessions and. But I'm trying to outgrow that brand, but it's not outgrowing me, unfortunately.
Why?
I'm not a student anymore, please. Hey, I'm an adult now.
But my sister, you're still studying. I mean, you're encouraging the ones that are also in the same journey.
I'm tired. They're not even allowing me. They're forcing me in a niche. And me, I'm trying to get out of that niche.
Oh my God.
I'm trying.
Because I was also going to ask you how do you balance your work life and your student life? Because I know a lot of people are actually in that circle. A lot of us are working, but we've gone back to school. Others went to work, paused the studies, came back, and are now trying to juggle both worlds.
Yeah.
How are you doing it? How are you managing that lifestyle?
I've been very intentional about the type of work that I do. So in my second year of master's, that's when I was doing my internship. So that year, I just had to finish my research. And I managed to finish it. It wasn't that much left. And then for my PhD, I told myself that I'm not going to get a full-time job. I'm going to consult. So luckily with research, you don't have to commit to something. Just get just to pay my bills. Right? So I work a few hours. The time I can give them is what I work with. So that's how I've done it in the past. I'm very intentional because I tell them that I'm a student first before I'm a worker. Employment for me is not that serious. I just need to do it because I have bills to pay. My rent is not going to pay itself.
No.
Otherwise, it's a sharp vibe. But I think this year I might actually have to really juggle because I'm looking for a full-time job, but remote. But I also want to pursue my studies full-time because I'm doing my studies full-time. It's not like I'm doing them part-time. It's not like... But I thrive under a lot of pressure. So I like being constantly busy. I like staying until 1 a.m., not being able to sleep. I like always working. Like, I'm always busy. On weekends, I find something to do. I don't like being idle. So I think it just works for me.
And so far, so you go through your undergrad. You did it in psychology. So what is it? Is it a BA?
BA,
So
yes.
Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. And then you do your honors in psychology again. And then masters
in research psychology.
And then now your PhD is in?
My second PhD. So my first one, that's another story to tell. My first one was in pediatrics,
please, we are here for the story.
My first one was in pediatrics. The story actually upsets me so much.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was bothered, unprovoked, right? So I posted my graduation pictures on LinkedIn, right? And a certain professor from my institution DM'd me and said, congrats on your graduation. Would you be interested in any opportunities? So now I look at her profile, I'm like, this is so impressive. Like, she's in health sciences, but she has the same background as me. She did her master's in research psychology as well. But she's a professor in clinical medicine. I was like, that's insane. Like, I really want to associate myself with this person.
Such people.
Yeah, and the fact that she was messaging me, I was like, ooh, for sure. Hey, the signs were always there. The signs were always
What were the signs?
there. She never responded. I told her that I'm very interested, and she sent me her email. So I emailed her. She missed me. And I went back to LinkedIn. I was like, I emailed you. Have you seen my email? She's like, no, now she's very busy. I must send another one, which I did. It took a while for her to respond. Like, that was just our relationship.
Sign number one.
The signs were always there. She'd always take time. But I used to hold on to the hope that this is a very prominent person, like she will help me in my journey. So I must just persevere, And it was tough because all the supervisor I had before her was great. She was so responsive. She would come to me more than I go to her. So then going to someone that was just so unresponsive that I had to keep chasing, right? And it went like that for the whole year. Like, she was so unresponsive. She would go weeks without responding to me. I would WhatsApp her. She would say, email me. I'd email her. She doesn't even respond to my emails.
Oh my God.
We would set up meetings. She would postpone them. Last year was tough. Last year was tough because I feel like I should have gone so far in my first year of my PhD because I set timelines for myself. And when I said I'm going to do this in a certain time frame, I have to do it. And now for the first time in my life, I lost all control over my own studies. I've always had some control, full control over my studies, and God. But last year, I was fully stripped. And I remember at church a few weeks ago, they were talking about the idol of certainty. And I said, that is such a huge theme in my life. That last year, I was stripped of that. And I was shown that certainty is an idol for me. I know for a fact that I can do this in a certain time frame. God was like, let's put a spanner in the works and let's test your faith. My faith was tested last year because of someone else. I was doing everything I could do in my mind. I was doing everything on time. And education is my identity. So you can't take that away from me. So last year it was taken away from me. The certainty, the things that I'm always sure of were taken away from me. So I had to face myself and face who I am outside of the certainty. And I think even in that, God was showing me that you've lived your life thinking you are the one writing your story. When it's really just been me. Like, I was so humbled last year. I was like,
So he was like, let me show you.
I really did it on purpose.
I'm the one that's in control.
It's never been you, my girl. It's never been.
One thing about God.
It was such a humbling experience. But now I see why I had to go through it. Like, I'm not even mad at it. It's a wasted year, but it's fine. It's helped me to trust God and to let go and just trust that he knows what he's doing.
For your life.
For my life. Like, he brought me here on purpose. He knows what he's doing. So this false control that I think I have, I have none of it. I have none of it.
It got proven that
Things have been going
Yeah?
according to my plans because that's what he wanted for me. But it felt like, no, Mina, this is my story. I'm writing it. I know. But God was just writing my story and things were going according to his will for my life. So last year he was like, look, I think you're getting ahead of yourself.
I think you're getting things twisted. You think it's you and your plans and your, I know I'm a routine girl. I know I get this when I do this. And he was like, oh, really?
Let's see about that.
Let's see.
Oh, he humbled me and my ego.
So now what then becomes your next? So this was last year when you went through a tough time academically with your first attempt to your master's. Then
my PhD.
Your PhD, sorry. So now now you're in your second attempt.
I reapplied.
For your PhD.
I had to reapply.
Did you
for
do
my
the
PhD.
same? How does it work with PhDs? You apply for a specific discipline, right? So the first one was in what?
In health sciences, so it was under pediatrics.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter. Your PhD is in whatever your supervisor is in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was so traumatized by the topic and the experience that I said, I'm starting on a clean slate. So it is possible that you just change supervisors and continue with what you had started. But I was like, I don't even want this topic anymore. She had also changed my topic so much that I even forgot what my original topic was. So I was like, I'd rather just start from scratch. And my co-supervisor tried to call me, convincing me that, Nqobile, you don't have to give up. Don't do this, see the process through. You're thinking out of emotion, which really upsetted me because I'm so calculated. I don't do things when I am very impulsive. But things like education, I think it
about
through.
it.
I don't just wake up and say I'm going to drop out of my PhD.
Yeah.
And she kept on saying, you're acting out of emotion, give yourself a week. I was like, okay, sharp. The next week I was still like, okay, I'm dropping out. So what now?
Another week?
And but it was such a tough decision to make, putting myself first. And I literally just dropped out because of my mental health. Because I've seen how dangerous it gets when your mental health is. And I didn't want to continue the cycle with me. I've seen someone actually commented last week because I posted about this experience on my Instagram last week.
I saw,
I was like breaking my silence. And like I've been going through this. And someone DM'd me and said, thank you for speaking about this because as Black women, we're taught to just accept the situation we are in.
It is.
Like we are never taught to just end certain cycles. And that's a thought that I had when I went through this cycle. I was like, you know what? It actually ends with me. I've seen so many women that come before me that stay in situations that don't serve them because they don't have options. I have options. I don't have to stay in the situation. If I don't want, I don't want. I have other options. I can drop out. I can start again. It's not the end of the world. And I was always thinking of my mom. I've seen my mom stay in so many situations where I'm just like, my girl, please.
My girl, please. And I actually wanted to say, many women, I'm going to say Black women because that's what I'm exposed to. Many Black women are sitting in places they're not supposed to be sitting in simply because they were never taught, you have an option.
You have an option.
You have an option. You can literally pack and go.
And start, and it's okay to start again.
Afresh.
It's okay to start again.
When you were speaking about idols of certainty, I think I also went through that when I was in school. So much when I got dismissed in university, when I went back home and I was shattered and I was crying. And my mom was like, Mara Sisi, when you've always had a perfect academic life. You've been passing ever since you were a child. You've always been smart. You've went through school like it's nothing. Maybe this is your time now to just feel something. To just feel something. But for you in your head, you're like, there is no time to feel something, Sisi.
I planned everything. It's ruining my life.
This is ruining my life. What do you mean?
It doesn't even feel like a season. It feels like my whole life is being ruined.
When that happened, I was like, I'm done. It's done. I think I probably went into a depressive mode. But I'm glad to see somehow we are people that have so much faith in God that we're able to pick ourselves up. And I think that's why it's so important to be grounded in something.
Yeah.
Because it's that ground that you realize, actually, you know what? God didn't bring me here to be useless and end up in the streets doing nothing for my life. I know I'm here for a purpose. So you know what? I'm going to dust myself off. I'm going to get up and I'm going to start again.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of I think also sharing our stories, because now people are able to learn, guys, you can start afresh and be successful in that new thing and actually excel. I've seen people that excel in that compared to the thing they started with in the first place. So he might be doing some dodgy things in our lives,
but his plans are always to prosper us.
Yeah,
that's
always.
what I know for sure.
So what's your current PhD?
It's in psychology now. So I'm going to be looking at human creativity versus AI creativity.
Oh, that's interesting.
I haven't really started. I have my meeting with my supervisors next week, but that's what I'm going to be looking at. In a nutshell, I'm going to be looking at who feels like they're in control. Do we humans feel like we have autonomy over the work that AI produces? So I'm very excited
Why
about
that topic?
it. I love AI.
Oh.
I'm such a ChatGPT girl. I even pay for a subscription. That's how committed to AI I am. But I also like neuroscience. I love neuroscience. I love how the brain works on the science side of it, not the psychology. Like when people hear that I study psychology, they think, oh, therapy, oh, mental health.
Yes, that's what psychology is to us.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm the neuroscience. I'm the neurons. This is how the brain works. This is how memory functions. This is
all of that is still under psychology.
It's still under psychology.
Wow. Okay.
So that's the part I'm interested in psychology. Even my master's was on that. Yeah.
That's interesting because we don't usually know. We just know psychology to be.
Mental health
You're either going to be a
therapy,
psychologist. I think I remember at some point I wanted to be a psychiatrist because there's a cousin of mine that was like, "Hi, but psychology, psychiatry has more money because it's on the doctor's side." And that's how I learned there's a psychiatrist. Otherwise, all we know psychologist.
And we all do different things. None of them do the same thing.
Wow, that's very interesting. And people don't know that. And I think I always say it's good to share because then someone else learns and goes, oh, actually, I can be something else apart from just a psychologist, but still under the realm of psychology.
Because we are all called psychologists. We just have a different name. There's clinical psychologist, counseling psychologist, educational, neuropsychologist, industrial, and then research. So all of us are called psychologists, but with something in front of it.
Very interesting. Even I didn't even know that. So now, your supervisor, you said you're meeting your supervisor in the coming week. Yeah. Are you looking for, how do you feel about that?
I'm
Are you
excited.
anxious?
I'm excited.
No anxiety.
This is my master supervisor and my honors supervisor.
Okay.
I love her. We work absolutely well together. So, see, I'm a certainty girl. Like, I like predictable things, which is another issue because after my master's, I obviously went back to her. I said, I want to do my PhD. Please supervise me. She's like, you are so adamant in sticking in the same thing. Go and explore. Look where exploration got
Now you're like,
me. And I was like, this is exactly why I like predictable things.
Like,
better the devil I know.
Actually, I feel the same even with food. I'm like that even with food. I do not want to experiment with food because every time I've experimented, I come back and I'm like, do you know what? Never again.
Stick to things you know.
No, because you will not be disappointed in that.
Exactly.
Oh wow! So I'm very inspired by your journey because it's not everyone that goes through school and finishes. You are the daughter my mother wants. But she knows that she's probably not going to get it from me. She must try with the others. For me, hey, Sana.
You're already doing so well for yourself, so it's fine.
She doesn't see it like that. Really? She's the education girl. So she's just like, why aren't you going back to school? You need to do your honors. You need to do your master's. And I'm just like, girl.
Surprisingly, I think my mom was only accepting my career path now that I'm doing a PhD.
That's
it's something to talk about. Before then, don't ask my mom what I'm doing.
Because she's just like,
it's not accounting. It was accounting or nothing.
Then we would talk. If it was accounting, then I would say something about her. But
my daughter is doing a PhD.
Now it's a PhD. So now I can talk about you. Our parents. Oh my gosh. Oh, but that's so impressive. What has been your greatest achievement? I know academically you've excelled so far. What do you think has been your personal greatest achievement?
That's such a difficult question. You see why I wanted to rehearse? Because this is such a difficult question.
This question wasn't even in the notes. But
let me think. Honestly, I think the one thing I take pride in is my relationship with Christ. I think that is my brand. That has been my biggest achievement, especially these past few years. Finding Calvin has played such a huge role in my spiritual life, especially from someone who comes from a very traditional, conventional Adventist home where they are so strict. Ellen G. White's every single day's school was also that. Like Christ was shoved down my throat, and I hadn't experienced him myself as yet, right? It was always the God of my mom. Oh, I knew the God of my mom. He would always pull through. But I knew nothing about the God of Nqobile.
Oh.
And then I grew up. I think the first time I had my first encounter with Christ was in grade 9. I don't even remember what happened then. But that's the year I got baptized when I was 15. That's when I experienced God. Because I had to choose God for myself. I was in an environment now where it's not an Adventist school. There's Muslims, there's Hindus, there's everything. Now I have to stand up for my own faith. And that was the first time that I was like, actually, I think I understand this God. I think I want to get to know this God I want to know him as the God of Nqobile. I don't want to keep saying, yo, my mom's God, they're the God of David, the God of Abraham. He must be the God of Nqobile, right? And so I started learning and getting to know Christ like that. And I was still a bit, even when I got baptized, I did it because I felt like that was the peak of my Christian life, but it really wasn't. I think going to Calvin was where I realized that, I was a typical Adventist girl. Like what you were explaining, I used to be called LNG White because that's exactly who I was. Like I was holier than thou, Bandla. I was so. And then I went to Calvin, and then people are just genuinely there as themselves. And I struggled. I remember the first few weeks, I was like, oh God, there's drums. Oh God, they are wearing earrings. Oh God, they're wearing pants.
Oh God, I'm so sorry for being in this environment.
Like, what is actually going on here? And that's when I got the second conviction on modesty, that those people are showing up exactly how they show up to me during the week. Who am I to come and dictate who they are on the seventh day? And Calvin has exposed me to, those people are so intentional about their worship. They're so intentional about their relationship with Christ. Nobody's pretending there. Like they come there with their pants. They come there with everything that Adventist was not sold as growing up. I see it at Calvin. And I love that. I think show up to God the way you are. And this is so, what's that word? Controversial. But honestly, if that's how you want to show up for your God, that's how you must show up for your God. And I think for me, that was the biggest thing for me, my biggest achievement. I grew up wanting to recruit people into Adventism because I had also had this theory that the stars that I'm going to have on my crown, growing up, they say if you bring someone to Adventist church, you'll get stars on your crown. So, that's what I used to do, recruit all my friends to come to church. Literally, nothing else, man, just come to church.
I just want my star.
And, since I've been to Calvin, I don't recruit anyone. I've told myself that if my lifestyle itself doesn't recruit people to church, then I'm doing it the wrong way. I mustn't have to force people and shove this religion down people's throats. And there's so many people that have shown interest since then in this church that I go to, in this God that I serve. And that for me has been the biggest achievement, like embodying Christ in my life and not having to say, look, Jesus loves you. Look, give your life to Christ. But people just seeing all of that through my life without me saying it has really been the biggest achievement, I think.
Oh, beautiful. I remember there was a sermon and those words stuck with me till now. I can't even remember when or who preached. But they said, your life is a CV of what God is all about.
Exactly.
You are a representation of God. So every morning you step out, you must know that you are representing Christ. And everything you do, everything you say reflects
the Christ that you serve.
That you serve.
Someone also once posted when I was in first year, I still remember it so vividly, that you are the only Bible someone will ever read.
Oh.
I was like, that is such a heavy responsibility.
Real, because some people really don't read Bibles that much, but they watch what we do.
Yeah.
And every day
talking
they look
about this God, and you're going to this church every Sabbath, but your life is the direct opposite.
Kulega, you're not doing anything for it. It's really a great achievement to say and proudly say, I'm not perfect, but I wake up every day to becoming what Christ wants me to become and to represent Him right. As much as we all have sins. And
no, we are definitely, I'm not perfect. I will say that for free.
None of us is perfect. But we try to at least sell this God in the right way. I love that. I love that. Before we close, what does excellence mean to you? Because I can see you're an excellence. What does excellence mean to you?
It's a representation of Christ. I was actually on a podcast last year or the year before, and I told them that I serve a God of excellence. My excellence is a reflection of the God that I serve, so I can't do any less. I don't think God associates himself with mediocrity. He doesn't associate himself with mundane things. Like, he said he will be the head and not the tail.
Yeah.
And that's my mission on this earth. I cannot afford, but even worse now, because of my names, I was not afforded the opportunity to not succeed. When they said Nqobile Mnisi, I think it was destined from birth. When you have no choice but to be excellent. So being excellent for me is showing up holistically in every aspect of your life, not just academics. Like, be excellent in everything that you do. When people think of your name, they must associate it with excellence.
Yeah.
Which is what I've grown to be, thank God, because of that. Like, in every aspect of my life, whether it's school, I'm associated with excellence. And not to toot my own horn, this is because of Christ, right?
Yeah.
In my personal life, I'm associated with excellence. Church, religion, the businesses that I've started also, they've grown up to be excellent businesses. So I think for me, excellence really is just a reflection of the God that I serve.
Oh, beautiful. And if for someone watching, what would you want them to take away from your life journey to this point and everything we've discussed so far? What would be the one thing that you want to
I think
share?
the toughest lesson I've had to learn is that everything happens for a reason. And I want people to believe that when God says everything works together for our good, he means it. Even the worst things to happen to us, everything is happening for our good. God is not a God of malice. He's not sitting there planning to sabotage us, planning to do horrible things to us. God really loves us. You know, when you fully understand the depth that the love of Christ has for us, you start to understand that, you know what, even if things don't go according to my plan, I know that God is working together for my good. So if you hold on to that hope, even in the tough situations, even in this season of my life where I'm waiting, I'm not even sure what the next step is, but I know in the grand scheme of things, God is doing a big thing. God is definitely doing a big thing. So I want people to always remember that whatever you're going through in life, God knows what he's doing. It's not out of script. It's definitely part of the plan. And also you, one day you'll understand why you had to go through this exactly the way that you had to go through it. So yeah, just remember Romans 8:28. In all things, Christ is working together for our good. Yeah.
Never think you are out of script.
Yeah.
I think I've never thought of it like that. You are not out of
He
script.
is the author, the finisher of our lives.
Your life is perfectly scripted, just as it is. Take it as it is.
Take it as it is.
The best you can